Hello and welcome back to the 2025 Brewster Ridge Open driven by Innova. This is round 2, the back 9. If you didn't watch the front 9, go do that first, and then you can come back here. My name is Emily Dale, joined by Nathan.
Yeah, what's up everybody? Halfway through this year's Brewster Ridge Open. It's been a fun watch so far as we head into the back 9 of the Brewster Ridge Disc Golf Course. Paul Krans leading the way at 11 under par. Really haven't seen any flaws in his game so far. Has just played super consistent, giving himself plenty of birdie looks and has knocked down the majority of them. Axel Olsen, Jesse Longenecker are making some moves up the leaderboard. We'll see if anybody else can join those three or potentially others at the top of the leaderboard for our final round lead card. As we kick things off here on hole 10, a 475-foot par 3 downhill the whole way. Almost every single hole on this back 9 will be downhill. Players can kind of throw whatever they want. If you've got the arm speed for it, you'll see top pros throw mid-range on this hole. I think most of these guys are probably going to go more that fairway driver speed. As long as you get the stability right and the height right, you can kind of just push something straight the whole way down the hill and let the disc really do the work for you.
Getting a little bit lucky here. Some tree love checking up right before that OB.
Yeah, not a bad shot for Paul. Got a little sneaky on the left side, but he is pin high out there in circle 2.
Just tickling the branches.
Gavin Cunningham now. We saw his putter on fire during round 1, making him from all over the place. This one is a bit pulled though. Going to come up short.
Paul Krans, it looks like this was a flippy disc with the hyzer that came out of his hand, but I love the shot shape. He'll be probably circle's edge-ish.
Yeah, not a bad shot from Fleck. We'll see if he gives that one a run with the downhill putt. Sage Tanner rounding out our lead card here. Couldn't really get much going on the front 9. Just didn't give himself quite enough birdie looks to score. This one is a bit overturned. We'll see if it comes out of those woods at the end. Doesn't look like it.
A good shot there from Cunningham. It's just awkward angle, hard to really make your way all the way up to the basket. He'll have a long look for his par, although we know he likes those putts.
Did like those putts on the front 9, so good scramble for Tanner as well. Going to be a stress-free par for him. So yeah, he made like 3 of these on the front. Can he do another? Why not?
Why not?
Of course, easy. 50-footers are easy, guys. I don't know what everybody's complaining about. Just dead center too, like just no big deal. That's crazy. Oh, just a bit high. I feel like Fleck has had to putt after Gavin every single time too. Like I feel bad for the kid. He's getting big putted left and right. Just can't find it from circle 2 right now. Paul made a bunch of these yesterday, and why not add another to the list? That's 3 birdies in a row, heading back to hole 8 and 5 of his last 6. Really looking to extend the lead. 10 is a great one to pick up. Definitely a bonus birdie.
Absolutely. Oh, here it goes. What's your guess?
2005.
Oh, man. I'm going with 1990. Oh, gosh, I was wrong.
2013. Oh, this place
really?
is pretty new. All right. Well, it turns out we know nothing about disc golf. If you were right in the comments, congrats. Emily and I are a bunch of dummies. Let's take a look at hole 11. R4, 625. Sorry, I shouldn't have called you a dummy.
It's okay. I'm a big dummy.
I was a bit harsh. I personally know I am a dummy.
I also am dummy.
This is one of the funnest holes on the course to throw. If you get the late flip, like hyzer late flip shot thrown perfectly, the disc will just go forever. This is the hole we saw Matty O absolutely park in like 2023 Worlds or Brewster Ridge Open. It is just an absolutely gorgeous downhill hole. Most players, though, are just going to kind of throw something a little bit slower, maybe a forehand, just to put themselves in the fairway and play for the birdie. But if you do get aggressive with this distance driver, it is reachable. This is looking beautiful from Gavin, if it stays clean.
Oh my goodness.
I told you, it can finally somebody proves me right.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe I should have just said, "Oh yeah, I can't be." You know, it's nobody's ever going to be able to two this hole, and then they definitely would have done it. But that was such a sick shot from Gavin. And a good one for Fleck as well. I think he went with a bit of a slower disc there, so just opting to play for the birdie on this one. This one could be good from Sage if it holds.
Keep it going. It did not, but he'll be fine over there. He has some options.
Yeah, there's a couple different gaps depending on where you lie to still access this green, so very doable. Fleck pulls this one a little bit, so it's going to have to get sneaky. And it kind of did.
Yeah. Probably 40 footer.
Paul, he's in a pretty good spot. This one is looking like it's leaking right a little bit, but oh what a tree. Or maybe not a good tree.
Oh my gosh, the emotions. I can't handle it.
Yeah, that was a kind of a roller coaster there, but he's still going to be inside the circle with a putt. Sage's first shot, or second shot, I should say, got caught up, so having to pitch up, but here's another one. This is Gavin's range, right? 60-footer, a little downhill.
What a drive.
This time for Eagle on the par 4 11th. Come on. You got to give it to us, right?
Come on.
Oh. The line looks so good. Just a little too long.
Yeah, that would have been an awesome one to ring up.
Yeah, Fleck, great spot.
Great birdie there from Fleck, though.
Yeah, nails the circle 2 look to grab him the 3. Hole 11, definitely one you want to pick up. If you're able to hit the gap off the tee, it is a very scoreable hole. Paul's got a birdie look as well.
Still... I'm still reeling at that.
I mean, that is 12 years ago. I know it's hard to believe sometimes, and our sport is pretty young. So, but yeah, I mean, the Pro Tour has been going there since I think at least 2015. So, when Jeff Spring brought disc golf to Smugglers Notch, it got to a elite level very quickly because the property is just absolutely beautiful. Good par save there for Sage.
This is the comebacker for birdie from Gavin. Makes good on it.
Yeah, no eagles on hole 11 today. It would have been very cool to see one, but maybe we'll get some in the fall when the Pro Tour comes to town. Taking a look at hole 12, 430-foot par 3, another slowly drifting downhill, right to left moving shot. Another one you can kind of throw any speed you're comfortable with. Mid-range will do for most of these guys. This one is looking like it's on a good line if it can check up towards the basket.
Little tree love there. Keeps him close for pretty much tap and birdie to keep it rolling.
Yeah, gosh, Paul is just Obviously knows this course well. He's won this tournament before. Being from Massachusetts, I'm sure has been up here many times. So,
I mean, you said in the beginning he doesn't look like a bro, but I think he's starting to look like a bro.
yeah,
A
definitely,
bro.
definitely a baller. That's for sure. This is looking a little bit early for Fleck. Needs to kind of hold. But yeah, it does get caught up on that left side.
Good line coming in just a little bit high, but gets a favorable reaction on the ground and stays close. Some good guardian trees down there.
Yeah, those trees on the left side of the green are really putting in work for these players. They don't want to give them any sort of long putt. A little fun rock action there for Fleck. That would have been an all-timer if it could have skipped in.
How many times is this guy going to have the same exact putt?
And it looks just like the last hole, too, just around the right side.
And look
Another
at that
birdie.
scorecard.
Wow. Yeah, Paul has an 8-stroke lead on his nearest competitor on the lead card. And we know there are some guys trying to make some moves on the rest of the course, but it's hard to catch a man when he just birdies every single hole, you know? Not letting up much ground at all is Paul Krans right now. Good par putt for Gavin on the comebacker there.
Yeah, and this is a very strong field, so keeping that lead is not an easy feat, especially at these two courses.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot that can happen, right? Fox Run, if it gets a little windy for round 3, anything could happen out there as far as stroke swings go. So while Paul's, he's got to ride this heater as long as he can in the woods and keep hitting these gaps.
Speaking of which, checking in on the leaderboard, we have some hot rounds here from Axel and Jesse continuing to put in work, getting themselves in a tie for second place with our feature card, Gavin Cunningham.
Paul still just pulling away from the field as we take a look at hole 13, a 570-foot par 4. If you've got it, players are going to go forehand off the tee, looking to land as close to this path as possible to set up their second shot down a very narrow and hard to access green. If you're off on either side, it's almost impossible to really give yourself a look at this one just because of how narrow that hallway is and how specific of a landing zone you have to hit.
Oh.
What a reaction.
Okay.
When it's going good, it's going good, folks. That was a wild counter skip and then an even wilder tree direction to just put him right in the middle of the fairway.
It kind of defied physics, but that's okay. We won't question it.
Yeah, wow, crazy stuff. This is a tough backhand to really keep in the fairway. You kind of have to get lucky through the right side if it's going to work out. This one's fading left a little early for Gavin, and it's going to leave him a long approach into the green.
Fleck gets caught up early on top of the hill, but it looked like he stayed fairly in the middle of the fairway. That's a fun lie.
How does the disc just perfectly stand up on a random stick in the ground like that? That is hilarious. Looking to play for position, and yeah, that's a fine layup to get around the corner.
A little bit turned over. Doesn't quite make it up to the green, but good distance down there.
Yeah, and actually Gavin not in a terrible spot. He basically has a straight on line to attack the basket, but hits early left, and that is going to kick him well right. Almost an impossible scramble through that wall of trees from over there. I don't even know if he'll even have an easy pitch out, so we'll see what he decides to do.
That's where Paul's drive landed after the crazy kicks and flips and floats.
Yeah, what a result. Through a decent enough second shot, and that is a crazy result as well. Somehow getting through the entire right side and then just popping out next to the basket.
What is going on out here? Yeah, really tough lie there for Gavin. You can see him kind of in the background there. Not much to work with.
Yeah, just a wall of trees in the way of him in the basket. And now is left with this. Not even really a putt, just hoping to get through as much as he can.
Yeah, it'll still be a tough putt there for birdie. Or par. Bogey. Words are hard. One of those things.
A tough putt for something. Yeah.
One of those scores.
It's hard to keep track. Yeah, 70-footer maybe now for the 5.
Yeah. Tried to make good on it. He'll have to settle for a double.
Good cleanup from Paul, able to take his first par in quite some time. It's just all blue with that one blemish on the scorecard right now, which is not usually the way people play Brewster Ridge. This is the kind of course that you end up with a lot of those kind of longer birdie looks that we saw Gavin ending up with. Is kind of a common way to play it. But Paul just proven that, if you're good, you can just birdie it. Taking a look at a rare uphill hole on our back 9, hole 14, 355 feet, plays about 600. It is so far up this hill and so difficult to attack the green. You kind of just have to blast a turnover backhand up there and just hope you get lucky through some of those late trees, just because the shape of this hole is just kind of impossible to actually throw. This is a very common landing zone, short right of the basket in that wall of trees. You kind of catch something late and end up with a uphill 60-footer.
This is a little bit early. He'll get a kick over there. Hopefully didn't go too far into the woods on the left-hand side.
Yeah, an early kick on this hole is not what you're looking for. It's a hard enough hole as it is, because you can see by that 3.46 average. Scrambling does not make it easier. This one for Fleck looks a little early. And yeah, it gets caught up.
Looks like a good result there from Cunningham. Might have a look there for birdie.
Yeah, most likely a long one. And yeah, this I don't know if this up and down is possible. It's definitely playing far. Still a lot in the way, and yeah, it's kind of just a pitch out.
And his pitch out got him to that kind of collection zone that you had talked about, which is still not easy for him to get up for a bogey. As we see Flick roller here, going just a little long.
Yeah, I think just kept going. Not a bad result. It is going to result in a long look.
Tough break for Cunningham there. Here's what Krans is left with.
Yeah, this is a long birdie look. He's got a lot of trees in his way, though, and yeah, kind of just pitches it up.
I think you're happy with par here.
Yeah, if anybody tells me they're disappointed with a par on this hole, I would think you're a liar. This is one that gives some of the best in the world fits. Gavin's pitch up for par comes up short. Fleck has an awkward look of his own, trying to bend it around the tree, and it's a bit low.
You want me to go sage or?
Par looking like a good score on this hole with only 5 birdies on the day. I think Paul's going to be pretty happy with that result. Rest of our lead card tapping in for bogey. They moved this pin position back a couple years ago, and players haven't quite figured out how to attack it. And if I'm being honest with you, I don't really know how you're supposed to attack it either, because it is just very demanding. Heading into hole 15, 400-foot par 3. We are flying over out of bounds until that rock hole wall leads us to this island green. Most players are going to throw some sort of straight to left moving shot at the very end. A righty backhand with a stable disc on hyzer the whole way should do the trick. Key is making sure you hit this initial gap off the tee to find yourself in bounds and then hopefully scoot on up into that green.
Unfortunately, finding that OB. First real mistake from Paul on the day.
Yeah, he's been super consistent, hitting his gaps off the tee and giving himself, a relatively stress-free round as far as this course goes, but finds the OB there. Sage Tanner going to find the out of bounds as well. So both of those guys will head to a drop zone, which is still not an easy up and down just to save a bogey. So potential for big numbers for both of them. We'll see if Fleck can find the center of that gap here and give himself a look. This looks great.
Nice shot.
This is looking good for Cunningham as well.
It just needs to find a little bit of late finish, and it does just in time. Nice shot for him, putting him at edge of circle, maybe just outside in that 40-foot range.
We know he's pretty good at those.
Yeah, made a bunch of them on the front 9. This is that drop zone we mentioned for Paul. Going to opt for the turnover forehand, which does put him inside the circle with a bogey putt.
Bit of a misrelease. It's going to be some scrambling here for Sage.
Yeah, big number incoming now. Looking to get up and down for double and gets caught up early yet again. So long putt for his 5. Dave's drive pushed a little too straight, so he's got this downhill look. Looks like he wants to give it a go. Doesn't quite fully commit.
It's hard to get the body to commit to the mind here.
Yeah, especially with that out of bounds rock wall not too far behind the basket. Long 5-putt for Tanner, who knocks it down. That's a great one to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, definitely not the putt you want for a double bogey, but you will take it all the same.
Yeah, really nice look there. So we'll see if Gavin is immune to the big putt. Got himself a 50-footer, slightly downhill. Made 3 of them on holes 5, 6, and 7 on the front 9. Yeah. It's pretty good.
That was super clean. Way to pick up the birdie there.
Yep, so a bogey for Paul. This is going to be a tap-in par for Fleck. We get the old small straight on the card, 2, 3, 4, 5. For our guys on 15. Just a couple holes left here in round 2.
We'll do our check-in here, see how the round is going. We have a tie for the hot round at down 6 after that bogey from Paul. Things are starting to tighten up a little bit, but Paul still has a pretty strong lead as we head into the end of round 2.
Yeah, hole 16, taking a look at this 385-foot par 3. Another one straight downhill. Most players are going to try to throw some sort of straight to finish forehand. The gap that the drone took is more of the backhand line. The inside gap, you'll also see players try to flex something and go around the backside at the end. Both are very viable options.
Good. Good shot. Good shot.
Talk about a viable option. I'll take a tap-in birdie every time. What a shot from Gavin.
Get around that. Great shot, David.
Good little check up there by the guardian tree. We love it.
Yeah, this is one that usually you kind of have to get a little lucky at the end just because of how many late trees there are in the fairway. But these guys so far just making it look pretty easy. Paul does catch one of those late guardian trees. Keeps him just a bit short of the basket. Maybe a slightly longer putt than he would have liked. Tanner now going to that backhand line as well. Looks like a good angle if it keeps the height. Out in that 50-foot range or so. Slightly downhill.
Good run there. Unfortunately, it's going to settle for par.
Paul Krans catching that last tree on the left. Leaves him at 30 feet for a bounce back birdie. And he connects.
Great little bounce back there.
Yeah, the last time Paul took a bogey, he ended up with 6 birdies in a row. So by my math, I think we're looking at a strong finish for him here. Although he doesn't quite have that many holes to work with in this round, at least. And yeah, that's to Gavin. That's how you'd like to play the hole. Yeah. Hole 17, just 2 left here. As we take a look at this par 4, 545 feet. Players are going to look to throw a straight to left finishing tee shot to ideally land right about here, setting up a very similar shot shape into this green that finishes left. Pretty steep drop off behind the basket, but it's kind of hard to access unless you really give this thing a crazy run and try to ring it up.
Clean shot here, right in the middle. He'll be kind of forced to get a little tricky there, I think, with the second shot.
Yeah, we'll probably have to like slightly flex something to access the green. Just because the shape, you'd like to be around the corner just to open up the angle for your second. Kind of like this, but that one just finishes a little too left for Fleck.
If this has just a little finish, that should be good. Get some ground pace, stay right on the road. Might need to sand the disc down a little bit after that.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much picture perfect. Anywhere on the road is an ideal drive. So Paul has bounced back from that bogey nicely, finding himself in position yet again. This one goes a little early for Tanner. We'll see what kind of lie he's looking at. And it is not great at the bottom of that ditch.
No, just needing to take your medicine, get out, and get in position for that next shot. And Gavin's really not as pinched as I thought. Just a little bit unlucky there at the end. But he'll have a step-out birdie look.
Yeah, probably a little knee putt under some limbs. You know whose Sage's form reminds me of? And maybe it's because of his stature. Is I'm getting tall Paul Oman vibes.
Yep. Nope, I see it.
You know, like the little high pump fake and then the little slow run up. Pretty similar in my opinion. While we were talking about it, Paul Krans just decided to park another hole for birdie. No big deal.
Are we surprised? No. Are we impressed? Also, yes.
Oh, yes, very much so. Fleck with a long birdie look, unable to connect. Gavin's got kind of a similarly awkward putt.
Yeah, he'll take his par and get out of there.
Yeah, as these guys are tapping in, this is definitely worth a shout out. Dylan Capiccioli with a 2 on this hole.
Let's go.
I'm seeing a 109-foot throw-in in the stats, so that means he went massive forehand. I'm guessing turnover off the tee, and then just dropped in a nasty long putt for the 2, which is something I have never heard of before on that one. So shout out to him, well deserved. As we take a look at our last hole of round 2, hole 18, a 400-foot par 3. Drone is flying where no disc has gone before, just straight down the middle. You're going to see players take the right-hand side over the bush with a little bit of left finish and hopefully get themselves a birdie.
If I know anything about you,
Unless
you get proven wrong.
Okay, I was going to say, that would be wild if Paul just sneaks it through the whole way. I might have had to retire from commentary if that disc just flew the exact drone gap and found a way. Okay, this is a line you don't see too often. Heiser flip down the middle from Cunningham. Almost works out, but does catch a late tree. Gap is much smaller on that left-hand side, so kind of surprised he went for it, but almost worked out for him. This is the more traditional line you see from players, and that's why much more open on the right, and Fleck throws it very well, sliding up to about 20 feet for his birdie putt, looking to get himself back to even par for the round.
Early tree hit for Sage there. He'll have some scrambling to do to get out of the woods here.
Important up and down for Paul Krans now to Save a par on the last hole. That one got a little squirrely on the right-hand side, but did eventually sneak through into the circle. But unfortunately, Sage does not find that same luck. He's going to be over in the rough there for his par putt. Can we get one more highlight?
Oh, I thought he had it. Good bid.
Good bit for Gavin, and a great show. I mean, the guy making putts from all over the place was so much fun to watch. We'll see if that 5 under par for the tournament is going to hold up and keep him on our lead card for the final round. One guy that we'll definitely be seeing on the lead card for the final round is this man right here. 15 under through 2 rounds at these 2 courses is going to do the job, especially at an A tier. Still a very strong field, and he is blowing them out of the water at the moment. So good
He's
stuff
really
from
just
Paul.
minimizing mistakes, keeping it clean, executing when he needs to. Playing some good golf out here.
Yeah, Sage Tanner going to tap in the bogey here, not the round he was looking for over at Brewster. We'll have a chance to do what he did during round 1 and put together a solid round at Fox Run to finish out his tournament.
Now here's the question of the day. What does the fox say? Had to throw
We're
it
going to
in there.
find out tomorrow during the final round. Perfect transition, you know. A little alley-oop right there. 8 under par for Paul Krans is just incredible stuff out here at Brewster Ridge. The kid has built himself a nice lead. We're going to take a look here in a second to see just how big that lead is. 7 strokes is the number to be exact. Axel Olsen, Jesse Longenecker, Whit Stevenson are going to round out our lead card for the 3rd and final round over at Fox Run. It's going to be fun to watch, Emily.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out. Make sure you like, subscribe, and big thanks to Disc Golf Vermont and Smugglers Notch for making this possible. And we will see you on round 3.
Peace.